years, I have been asked two questions nonstop. Was I a student, and what was I like in high school? Well, the answers remain no, I am not a student, and yes, I was a huge nerd in high school. However, when I think back to my years of rigorous, and even in college, I find that I cannot easily explain what defined the experience for me. I cannot simply put a label on my time here or there. And this is what I want to talk to you about today. Now, as I began thinking about what to write at this speech, I began with what all other good speeches seem to answer. What is, or was, the speaker good at? Most solid speakers base themselves firmly on something that the speaker knows well, and that therefore they can use to impart wisdom on all of you. Whether it's their time as a football captain, or the lessons they learned from their trip to Burma, there's always something a good speaker can talk about that will make you all feel guilty about the lack of accomplishment in your life. Fortunately for you, I was never very good at anything. Growing up, I never chose one thing and excelled in it. For example, I was never a great athlete. There was a time when I enjoyed football. However, my football career ended tragically at a barbecue when I was 8 years old. In an instance of healthy sibling rivalry, my sister pushed me headfirst into a chain-link fence on a pass from my father. 8 stitches later, I took up soccer. While I really loved soccer, I never took it seriously enough to define me. After enjoying 2 years of a JV career that sported a 2-18 record, my varsity soccer tryouts were almost certainly much more stressful for Pipe than they were for me. I nervously knew that I was perhaps talented enough as a defender, but I lacked the aggressive nature that sort of defines good, higher-level soccer. For his part, Pipe knew that I was going to be his yearly donation to the humanity part of Excellence League. Thankfully, this won't be a speech about failures and regrets, because that borders on that aforementioned sort of depressing line. Instead, I want to talk to you all about the value of not pursuing your passions. This is a very bizarre way to phrase my message, but it will work for some of you, I promise. In many ways, the current high school experience, the one that all of you live, is about pursuing your passion. Some will tell you that you are supposed to be using your time here, identifying your strengths and your interests, and pursuing them. That high school really becomes a platform to expand and strengthen your self-identity. And for many of you, this will be an easy process. However, what happens when strengths and interests don't align? We are all interested and, in fact, enjoy doing many things we are not good at. I enjoy playing soccer, and as I've already told you, I am not very good at playing soccer. I love coaching, but I will never win a coaching award, most especially because they don't give those out to middle school B coaches. So, what am I saying here? Well, it's simple. Your current weaknesses are not failings. And conversely, your current strengths are not always immediate indicators of what will define you and what is important. All too often, we push ourselves away from experiences that we might otherwise enjoy because we are afraid of failing or losing or seeming incompetent at something. Now, nowhere do I see this more clearly than as a faculty member at Rivers. Sitting before me right now are hundreds of self-defined athletes, artists, musicians, and many other things. For very valid reasons, and for the ultimate goal of getting into college, which certainly trumps the validity of my speech today, you are under pressure to, in some way, specialize who you are while you are here. It is no one's fault, and it is designed to help you become a recognizable commodity for any college admissions office. However, there are a lot of dangers inherent in this specialization, and I want to quickly talk about a couple. So as a teacher, when you ask a student why they don't like a particular class, they often tie their answer to how they perform in that class. I have rarely come across a student getting an A in a core class who will tell me that they hate and or refuse to pursue that course the following year. Further, it is very uncommon to meet the student who's willing to say, oh, love the course, love the teacher, the readings, the F hurts, but I love the Now, 4 years ago, I had an advisor tell me that they really had come to love the language that they were currently taking, but that they were going to switch the next year because they felt that they could get a better grade in it. So the first question I want you to think about is, do we allow our passions to be dictated by what we can easily succeed at, or what we actually enjoy doing? Another major problem with this pressure is the simple presupposition that all of you have a passion to discover by the time you are 18. Many of you will skate through rivers without playing 4 years of a varsity sport or winning a gold key. You won't start in the robotics club as a freshman and become the president by the time you're a senior. You won't have that life-changing moment where you discover who you are and what defines you on a Model UN trip. That's very common, by the way. In short, you won't define yourself to others. And you will make the college office's life that much more difficult by the time you are a senior. But, most likely, and more importantly, you will enjoy rivers. You will have friends that you like being around. You will know how to work hard in a smattering of classes in which you're able to get B's in. You will have some teachers that you know pretty well, and somehow by the time you graduate, Russ Halloran will know your name. And is there anything wrong with this? I don't think so. But it begs the question, are you okay with, and are we okay with, you being labeled as labelless? Now, I promise not to give a depressing speech, so I will close out with a very good example of how you could spend your time at Rivers. The last 6 years, I've had the honor of coaching at least one middle school B team each year. I've had 4 years of basketball and currently 5 years of soccer under my belt. Each year, I see students who come to practice each day because they enjoy the experience. With the exception of one very, very tiny 6th grade Tyler Schwartz, I have never had a student reach the varsity level of the sport that I coached them in. While some might see that as an abysmal mark on my ability to coach, I don't see it that way. Middle schoolers will show up to practice and play hard and have fun, not because they are trying to pad their resume to further their niche, but because they like doing it. If the student's behavior is any indication, they only care, in fact, about the snacks at the end of the game, and not. And indeed, my memories of coaching have nothing to do with wins or losses. And in fact, many of them come from people who will in no way define themselves as that particular sport. I remember Nick Sia, a soccer player, trying to pass the basketball over the head of an opposing player to himself on the other side. I remember Matt Lombardozzi, a hockey player, nearly having the police called on him by the Milton coach for not understanding that body checks weren't part of the game in soccer. And while it has nothing at all to do with the message of my speech, I will never forget a certain basketball player puking their ever-loving guts out on my sideline and saving me from having to use my last time out. I submit to you that these middle school experiences are a potential model for how to go about your decision-making, except for the last one. I promised that I would come back to my own experiences in high school. And I want to close by saying that my time at Rivers was very labelless. I never won any awards or focused on one thing. But I enjoyed my time here. I went to a top 10 liberal arts college, and I found a job that I loved. And if you look around the room today at the faculty, you will see adults who switch jobs after the age of 40. You will see people who, most likely in 5 years, will have a different job other than teaching. So I guess my only message, if there really is one, is that it is truly okay to not be a leader already. And that the push for immediate leadership is not a mandate. You do not have to be a paragon in one aspect of rivers or another at this point. This experience is literally only one step on the symbolic journey of finding out what you want to do with your life, and you do not need to have all the answers by the time you graduate. As long as you are enjoying your time here and getting your work done, the world is still